We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Cannon. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most overlooked parts of YouTube growth in general, and that's the YouTube thumbnails of it all. So, YouTube thumbnails are so important. I'm excited because Opus Clip has put out their brand new YouTube thumbnail generator. Now, I recently lost my voice, but this is so important. I wanted to go live here still. So, the thing about YouTube thumbnails is you can have a killer video, you can have the best title, but if your thumbnail doesn't earn the click, if it doesn't convince people to watch that video, unfortunately, nobody sees all that hard work you've just put in. So that's why thumbnails are so important. So we're going to be testing out Opus Clip's new thumbnail generator live. We have a link in the description if you're watching the replay, and you can also follow along. So there's going to be no requirement for photo editing. It uses AI. I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to create one together, and I'm going to show you how to make thumbnails that you can really work with. You can use these for layout testing. So all you have to do is click that link in the description. I also have it pinned. I'm just really excited to be live with you all here today. Now, another thing to keep in mind as we go on here is that these things that we're talking about, whether you use Opus Clip or whether you generated them yourself, they're all relevant to what we're going to be doing here today. And that's one of the things I like the most when it comes about using new tools like this, is that it can be used for inspiration. You can test, you can see what works best with your audience. So these are all things that's going to be very important and helpful as we go through the live stream. Now, I have a question for you watching. How long do you spend on your YouTube thumbnails? Does it take 15 minutes? Do you spend hours? Let me know in those comments whether you're watching live or in the replay. For me, it is one of the things I love to work on, but I can stress the most on because, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, they are so important. So for me, if I'm being very honest, it can take me anywhere between 1 hour to multiple, because when it comes to making thumbnails, click-through rate, all of that matters to get people to watch your video. Even this YouTube thumbnail of the live stream you've watched was generated using Opus Clip. And as we continue to go on with this, you might notice that there are other things and other thumbnails from when you watched it. So let me know, how long does it take for you to make a YouTube thumbnail? Always very curious on that. So one thing I want to talk about as we are waiting for people to get in is just how easy it is for you to actually create your own thumbnail. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And from there, we're going to go deeper. So we're going to go ahead and share screen. Going to bring it up. Now, if you're familiar with Opus Clip, you should understand this workflow. Create viral YouTube thumbnails in one click. Just drop a link and get both thumbnails that drive clicks instantly. And then they give examples down below from different creators. They tell you to drop an unlisted or public link to your YouTube video, and you can include a face. So these are some of those easy things you can do. So we're going to get a YouTube video. In fact, we might use one from the Opus Clip YouTube channel, and we're going to go a little bit deeper and see what this can create. Now, one cool thing you can do when you're using this is use Opus Clip's YouTube thumbnail generator for an easy way to come up with A/B tests. Now, A/B testing on YouTube is important because you want to make sure that you are putting out your best content with the best thumbnail as possible. So I think for what I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and use one of the videos I made at Opus Clip. We're going to drop the YouTube link, get free thumbnail. Now it's going to start processing our thumbnail. It's going to take about 3 minutes, as you can see. It's generating this live. It's analyzing our video, which is another unique thing that Opus Clip does. A lot of these AI thumbnail generators, it does its best with text, but Opus Clip actually analyzes your video to better understand what it's about and put that into account when it's coming up with your YouTube thumbnail. And as I'm talking, you can see how quickly it's going in, adding final touches. The video I used again was one of the videos I made on the Opus Clip YouTube channel, which talks about the auto import feature. And as you can see here, progress 93%. We're doing pretty well, pretty quick for while we're talking, it's going ahead and doing this. Now, while this is going on, I want to make sure we talk about some things to keep in mind. So on YouTube, if you've only been using Opus Clips to make YouTube shorts, thumbnails might be a little bit different if you've never made a YouTube video. So thumbnails get something that are shared out that you can see via impressions. Impressions are how YouTube is sending out your YouTube video to more people to see. So if your video is getting a lot of impressions, that means that YouTube is sharing it out. So click-through rate is kind of that first signal to you as a creator and YouTube that shows that when people see the video, they click through to watch. A lot of times people will say CTR, but it's actually impressions CTR. But I see our final thumbnail is here. So automatically convert new YouTube uploads into shorts. So you can see it has a PC workflow, it has a clip software, shorts ready, video export. It's a little text heavy, so I might go ahead and create a new thumbnail with this video again. But this isn't a bad idea. And I could go ahead, download the image, and use this now. In fact, I might do just that. Let me go ahead and download it. And again, the beauty of this is we can use these new thumbnails for A/B testing. So I'm going to go ahead, auto import thumbnail. I'll say V2. So now I have a new thumbnail. It took while we were demoing it live for it to generate. And I think it goes to show how quick Opus is nowadays with just getting these pieces of content created. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen. If you want to follow along, here's the video. I'll make sure to put it in the chat. I'll make sure I'll put it in the description down below as well. But this is the video. And the idea is we're going to be taking this link and generating new thumbnails. And to do this, we can create a new thumbnail. It'll take us back here. Let's say I wanted to include my face. We'd click here. I would go to where I have my files saved. I could do this. Keep in mind when you're uploading an image for faces that there is a 5 megabyte limit. I'm going to go ahead and select this face, get a free thumbnail. And that's going to be taken into consideration with what this video is about with my new face or image. So this is just something, again, it's really quick. It's estimated 3 minutes. We've been blowing through it. And it gives us a chance to talk more about thumbnails, right? One thing I like to do when I make a thumbnail is think about, how does this best incorporate to make people think more about the video or the story I'm telling, right? So as this is loading, this one is automatically convert new YouTube uploads into YouTube shorts. That's what this is about. So how well does this thumbnail tell that story and get people curious about it to maybe click through and watch? These are how I always think. And I try to think about my YouTube thumbnails with a viewer mindset. So as you can see, we're in the final touches. Should be loading here soon. And so as this loads, I want to know what you guys think as you're watching, how you guys think about your YouTube thumbnails. How much emphasis do you put on them when it comes to your YouTube content creation? And did you know about Opus Clip's new free thumbnail generator? I really am excited for it. This is only going to keep improving. I know the Opus Clip team takes feedback really seriously when it comes to features like this. So as it is loading, I want to go ahead and just go full screen. And I really want to take a moment. We kind of talked about the viewer mindset. And when you're thinking like a viewer, you need to take away your personal bias. Okay, so we have our image. And so if I take away my personal bias, viewers don't owe us a click. Our audience don't owe us a click. We always have to earn it, right? And so if I look at this thumbnail, this is about converting new YouTube videos into YouTube shorts. Now, I don't know if this image would do that for me personally, so I might generate this again, but we should download this image and test, right? And when we download and test, I'll show you how you can set this up for an A/B test on YouTube's backend. So now, as I'm downloading that image, it gives us new things to think about, especially when it comes to how we consider this. So now, as we're in the Opus Clip backend, or of the YouTube channel, I should say, we're going to A/B test. We're going to view test report because we have already run. We can see there was a preference. We're going to run a new test. And now as we're running this new test, we're going to use Opus's different versions, right? So we like this thumbnail. So I'm going to go ahead and re-upload that as one of the choices. And when you're uploading thumbnails or you're, thinking about these things, it's important that whenever you make a thumbnail, especially if you're A/B testing one you've already made, you should include the one that you've already have. So I just want to make sure that we have that set up and ready to go. So we have the default one. We're going to go out of here and we're going to go to downloads. And we're going to test these. Now, I do not know which thumbnail. My theory is it's going to be the one here, but who knows? That's why we do the A/B testing. We're going to hit done. Then we're going to hit save. And all of a sudden, we now have this running an A/B test with the thumbnails we generated in Opus. I will actually take a look back and see how this does. But we don't have to just use Opus, right? Our own videos. We can make thumbnails about anything. If there's a topic from a creator that you like or something that you've already made and you make it unlisted, you can use that to generate thumbnails with this thumbnail generator. And again, I like it because you do not know all the time what you want to do for a thumbnail. So if it gets your mind going creatively, that can be very helpful when it comes to it. Now, one thing I want to talk about is some big thumbnail mistakes I see. And keep in mind, as you're going through using AI, Opus is always working on this to improve it. But there are things you can be on the lookout for. One of the things you can be on the lookout for, and as you're looking at other, thumbnails, is too much text. Some thumbnails are minimal, some have way too much, and it's always a balance. So when I look at it and I'm thinking, what kind of thumbnails do I want? Too much or unreadable text can be a problem. Like this is an ad, but that's a lot of text. This is much simpler. Fewer text, but it shows a clear before and after. And it's got a focal point to the story. And again, it is this balance, right? Like this is a simple thumbnail, but that's a lot of text. And I think maybe it should be idea bank the first three. Now, this is not a thumbnail review or breakdown, but it goes to show, right, as we're thinking about this and as we're using Opus, this is the focal point of the story for this one, but there's too much text. Another thing that can happen is, you can have bad color contrast or mismatches, which can cause things not to stand out well. And these are things you should look at. Another thing is look at this thumbnail. There's emotions, there's emotion, there's tension. So you want to have some strong emotions in the faces. That's one of those things that you want to make sure. Or if you're going to use text, this is a battle simulator game, right? 14 million zombies, and you see the zoom out of it, it makes a lot of sense. So you can always have that level of clarity, especially when it comes to your thumbnails. Now, I will say that you should be not being discouraged when you look at other thumbnails, but there's a difference between studying what works and then never making it because you can't do something as good. It's about learning. It's about trying. It is about continually getting better one thing at a time. And the thumbnail generator from Opus Clip, the idea is to empower that creativity. So if Opus tries something and it makes something, and you're like, I actually think I could give that a shot, that's when it is very useful for you to try it yourself. Like this one, this thumbnail wouldn't be too hard for me to do. Hold up my keyboard, keep the idea, look at camera, and we have that kind of space, right? And all of a sudden, I have an idea for it. Or maybe, since it's talking about YouTube videos, I point to my camera, or I point to my phone. And that gives you a different idea of how you can do these kind of thumbnails yourself. You can use this as inspiration. If I were to make this thumbnail, talking about color contrast, I would maybe choose a different background. Maybe it would be YouTube since it's about, making normal videos into YouTube shorts. Or maybe it would be a video editor in light mode, so there's more contrast with my dark keyboard. You could even add a background kind of glow or blur. So these are all things you could be doing and trying. Good to see you, Susan, aka Homekeeping Channel. So again, even if you're just using it for ideation, because Opus studies other thumbnails that are successful, it is here to be helpful. This gives you a starting point to try and test things. A lot of times people don't have guidance, and to have something that could guide you, whether it's unlisted, whether it's a public video, is so important. And it's just a great way for you to test out getting better at YouTube thumbnails. And that's something I really appreciate with Opus Clip here. Now, another thing I will say is that, it's one of those things that you can always look to get inspired by and get better at, but it's also important to understand as you're testing what you like personally. Like I said, I mentioned a little bit earlier when I'm looking for YouTube thumbnails. I try to think as a viewer first. I try to look for contrast between the images and see if that works to get a better result. And so as we're going through here, I'm going to generate another thumbnail, right? Because I want to go ahead and take a look, at how we can use this together. I've talked about in the video I'm going to use now about how you can use Opus Clip to improve captions. So I want to go ahead and load this in the background. As we've seen, it's very quick. We've loaded multiple during this stream. It says 3 minutes. It's been actually a little bit quicker than that, thankfully. But it's one of those things is I'm using it to ideate. And if you have an unlisted link, having as much information with that unlisted link as possible is good. Having images of yourself with no background that you can use with it can give you even more information. Now, I will call out that even though I uploaded an image with me without a background, it used another image. I could then, in another video editing or photo editing app, change it out. But the good thing about Opus is it's pretty decent already to use, and we're already A/B testing with it. One I showed earlier was just one of the ways that you can run an A/B test with this. You could use this to use with Opus Clips Scheduler so that you could schedule out your video with the thumbnail that Opus Clips generates right within Opus Clips so that you're getting that extra level of help. And so I think this is a great opportunity for you if you're uploading using Opus Clip or you're just getting used to it, or maybe you're live stream all the time and you live stream to another platform and you don't really have time for thumbnails in the way you want. You could use this to empower your editor with Opus Clip. They can edit your clips into XML. They could use it to come up with ideas for thumbnails with the AI thumbnail generator, and then they can take that time to customize it. All of this is designed to empower us as creators to create more, to do more. And ideally, if we do it right, we can use it as inspiration. And I've used some of this as inspiration. I do like to come up, with things on top of my head. But it's important to note if you do or don't like a thumbnail. I may not like this one in particularly. Like I said, I would not necessarily show my back to the camera, but stand out Opus Clip captions. This is about, generating captions with Opus Clip. And so this is some captions that stand out. So I'm going to create a new thumbnail. We're going to try again. Maybe I include my face again. Again, we keep going back and forth between a couple of files. So, I'll use this one. Like I said, we'll try getting a free thumbnail. And it is normal to have to, keep working at it. But Again, the time I've spent here, we've been live, we've gone through multiple thumbnails. It's giving me ideas. We've already shown you how I could post a thumbnail earlier based on one, which was just me holding the keyboard. Maybe if I'm talking about Opus Clip keyboard shortcuts, it's as simple as this. And then we go deeper into it, right? Like that's just ways that it's gotten my creativity flowing because a lot of people don't know about Opus Clip has amazing, keyboard shortcuts for the app. And if you're editing in it, a lot of the ones you're familiar with are in Opus, right? So even though that one was an idea I got from thumbnails, how to make, YouTube thumbnails from long videos to shorts, I could use that idea again and we can continue to iterate on it. And that's why I like using tools like this. And again, it's always up to us as the creator to know what we like, to know our audience, and to be that person that steps in. Now, I would say that if you're watching, let me know about some of the thumbnails that Opus Clip has generated. What would you like to see in this generator? I know that I've shared some feedback. I would love to be able to regenerate and save existing ones within Opus Clip. I know that other people have given us a lot of great feedback that Opus Clip has taken into account. So these are all things that you should be thinking about when it comes to Opus Clip, when you're making these thumbnails, when you're doing these things, is that you want to make sure that you are also aware that Opus takes your feedback very seriously. Now, interesting on this one is that it gave the person, like it kind of used my face, but it swapped it out. Then it gave me glasses, which I don't actually wear. So how to improve your captions to get more views. That's not the Opus Clip logo. However, this does give me a baseline. So one thing I would say is as we're working on this and we're getting better, is that, it is going to take some time, a couple of tries, but notice this is still free. All I've done is drop links. It has been very easy to use. I really do appreciate that fact. And again, it's not going to be perfect. Even when I make thumbnails, my first attempt, rarely does it end up being what we use in the final. So it's about understanding that this is still a process. You're still in control as the creator. And that's what I love the most about YouTube thumbnails. So I have a question if you're watching this live or in the replay. Maybe we can answer some of the comments in YouTube Shorts. What questions do you have about YouTube thumbnails? What do you think about the designer? What do you think about when it comes to strategy? Let us know anything. I actually have a fun challenge if you're watching this. You should use the generator. Post your best thumbnails on our Discord server at Opus Clip or on Twitter, wherever you're active. And you should tag, Opus Clip, and you can even tag me. I'd love to see the thumbnails it's generating. And, as we're thinking about, the thumbnail generator, would you guys be down for rating thumbnails live streams based on data you can submit and we can make informed decisions. So sometimes my opinion on a thumbnail versus how it performs are not one-to-one. But if you'd be down for that, let us know either in the comments or if you're watching this live. I'd love to get your opinions on it because rating thumbnails and then using Opus Clips to kind of go deeper. And we can, again, keep in mind, we're using this as inspiration. We've already set up a live stream, before based on ideas. So rating thumbnails could be fun. And then we could talk about, how to make thumbnails in Opus Clips thumbnail generator. So always curious. Ooh, this one I would say I would maybe not use. It's funny how others lacked contrast. This is too contrasty. So something to keep in mind. I'm going to create a new thumbnail on this one. And keep in mind, because it's about captions, I might want to include faces a little bit more so that it kind of focuses a little less on all text. Now, if you want to join the Discord on the app here, you can see there's the join Discord link. I'd really love to see what other people are thinking of when it comes to thumbnails. So that's kind of why we've given that challenge. We're already thinking about our next live stream. We're helping it. And I really do think that as this gets better, this might be, the base version now, but it's only going to improve. And I want to just remind you that your thumbnail isn't just extra polish. I've seen some people consider thumbnails it's just another thing I have to do. It's the pitch to users. It's what gets your content that you've worked so hard on seen. And, when you're using the generator, when you're doing this, that's the mindset you should have. So you really should give the generator a try. Again, link in the description, and test a few thumbnails. See what happens. Even increasing your thumbnail CTR by 1%, 2% can totally help your viewership be higher. And that's that thing when it comes to trying these features, is you won't know until you try it. Now, we've generated a lot of thumbnails here. We've had 0 problems. It's been a really good stream. And I wanted to thank you, whether you're watching live or in the replay, for that. Now, I'm excited because you never know. I also am a little, you guys get to see my true reactions. I never know how this is going to look. So hopefully, you guys have been enjoying that factor as well. And here's a cool thing. If you have a friend or someone just starting, the price is free. Now, this I like. Again, I keep getting inspired. Make your captions pop. I don't know why I put a woman there instead of myself. This is feedback we've given. I know they're working on it. But make your captions pop. Maybe instead of me holding a laptop, it's just me smiling at camera, like a YouTube caption down here, Opus Clip logo, make your captions pop. It's quick, it's easy, it's understandable. And from here, I can use this and I can create my own thumbnail. Or maybe I test what it's like to not have myself in the thumbnail. The only thing I might change is this video because she looks great, but I'm not too sure how good. In fact, I'll go full screen for you. Not too sure how good the fake video editor here looks. I would like your opinion in the comments. And while you're in the comments, you can also check out Opus Clip's thumbnail generator in that pinned comment down below. I wanted to thank everyone for watching live or in the replay. I'm Andrew Can, and thank you, Opus Clip, for having me. Thank you for watching. Opus Clip is really changing the game when it comes to features like this, and you can use them to better inform your own content, to get better decisions, to come up with ideas, to use it to help empower you. And that's why I like it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.